I'm Jaclyn Johnson.
And I'm Marina Middleton.
And this is WorkParty, a podcast that's part work and part party. WorkParty celebrates a new generation of women who are redefining the meaning of work on their own terms and having fun while doing it.
In this podcast, we are diving into all the areas of being a working woman: mind, body, and business. No topic is off limit.
Real talk and hot takes. Think of us as your internet work wives. This is WorkParty,
the podcast.
Wait, where's the champagne?
Welcome back to WorkParty. Today we are talking about the best investments you can ever make. And we're not talking about crypto or real estate. We are talking about investing in yourself. Snap. What is this?
Clock it.
The most successful professionals treat themselves like assets. They're constantly building skills, up-leveling, learning more, getting as much information as they possibly can. Just look at the rise of microlearning. Completion rates for the short targeted online courses are over 80% compared to much lower rates for traditional training. That just people want learning that's fast, flexible, and applies directly to them.
Yeah. So in this episode, we're going to cover all things micro learning opportunities, courses, which I'm just excited. Like I feel like this really blew up post-COVID. I don't know if that was, I don't think it was as big pre-COVID, but I think investing in yourself, personal development for your company, also like investing in you as an individual, not just to contribute back. Anyway, so we're going to talk all things upskilling and investing in yourself. So let's kick it off.
Yeah. So one of the biggest questions in professional growth is hard skills versus soft skills.
I know. I feel like I ask you this all the time, even when we're doing like interviews of like, is it hard skills or soft skills? And I think both are really important, but hard skills are your technical abilities, right? Things like, you know how to code or design. They're really measured and often what gets you the job.
Yeah. It's like, do you know how to use Excel, Photoshop, code, whatever it might be. But soft skills, things like adaptability, emotional intelligence, leadership, those are what help you grow once you're in the role.
Exactly. And LinkedIn's 2024 Workplace Learning Report found that 92% of hiring managers say soft skills are just as important, if not more, than hard skills. And funny story, when I applied at Yahoo, I had my marketing degree, but I had never worked in marketing. I didn't have those like technical hard skills. But my manager had told my cousin who referred me, said, you can teach hard skills. You can't teach someone
agree.
Discipline and drive and ambition. Like you just can't.
I feel like I look more for soft skills than I do hard skills. Also, I'm like, do I have any hard skills? I'm like,
yes.
I'm like, truly, I taught myself Squarespace at like some point. I taught myself Keynote. I've taught myself, again, it's like, if I was applying for the jobs, I would not have had those skills, but I'm like, I'm just going to fucking figure it out and like go deep into that.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, I would weigh it like, again, if you're hiring someone to build your app, you want to have those hard skills. But I think in terms of like marketing and things of that nature, soft skills matter more to me, and creativity and like that kind of aspect to it. Whereas event producers, engineers, like all those things, like those are hard skills. It's tough because it's like, it is a selling is like such a hard thing to teach, because you could teach them to be like, do you want to buy this brownie? It's $5. It's delicious. But like selling an experience or like that is such a like skill set that requires a lot of finesse.
I think why it's always hard when we like go back and forth, like hard skills or soft skills, is because it's all about pairing them. If you're learning data analysis, practice storytelling, so you can communicate like what those numbers mean, or if you're deep design, focus on adaptability. And that's kind of how you stay ahead, is just like blending those two hard and soft skills.
Yeah, it's sometimes called a framework. It's the T-shaped framework. Every great professional has depth in their core, like that one thing that makes them stand out. So that's the vertical part of the T. The horizontal part of the T is sort of the categories that creates like all the different things across the top, like the little things that kind of add up. Think of it like this. You don't need to be an expert in everything, but you should know enough about the surrounding areas to collaborate effectively and make smarter decisions.
Right. And we just talked about marketing, but if you're a marketer, your deep skill might be content strategy, but you should still understand the analytics, SEO, design. It's not about just mastering them. It's just knowing how they connect. And I think that, again, I go back to hiring. A lot of people struggle with like, they just focus on one thing and they can't like piece all the pieces together.
Yeah. It's like the same thing if you're a designer. Like you can design something beautiful, but can you design something that people understand? Like understanding information, infographics, how people will perceive that piece of marketing material, like that all matters. Like you can make something green or you can, make something that is like extremely compelling to an audience. Like those skills need to intersect.
Yeah. And for us, it's definitely evolved over time. I'd say my quote unquote vertical is community building and brand strategy. That's really where I love to go deep. But the top of my T includes storytelling, negotiating. Everybody knows I love a good negotiation, or leadership.
It's so interesting because Audrey thinks mine would be entrepreneurship, which is not a thing. Like, I don't think that's like, I don't think it's like, I would say mine actually is creative direction. I think, and like not in the traditional sense, but I'm really good at creating environments, ideas, concepts. Like I'm really good at seeing something from A to Z. Like that's what I really thrive at. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What is the programming? Who's there? Like I can do that all day long. I think where I've had to like build other things is like, the financials of it. I've definitely had to like lean into that, the traditional marketing sense of it, like things of that nature. I don't know. I'm good at everything. So I think I'm more of an O than a T.
No, but I do also, thinking through that, I'm curious, do you ever realize that you're good at something once you do it and you're like, oh, I didn't realize, like I usually stay in my lane. Like for me, I felt like, yeah, okay, fine. Community building, like sure. But I love the finances. Yeah. And for me, I have to like blend the leadership part of it or the creative part of it. Like I always say like, oh, I don't touch creative, but like I have
understand creative though. Like I think also I do think this applies to people with normal jobs. Like specific jobs. Yeah. Like that's more what I'm saying. If you are a founder, entrepreneur, CEO, like CEO of a small company, I should say, of like, where it's like you're essentially the full operator of the business. You do all of it. Like, there's no T. It's truly because I'm like, I didn't want to do the finances. I learned all about the finances. Now I know everything about finances. I hate doing production budgets. I built production budgets. I run production budgets. Like I don't like doing it. I've taught myself how to do it. I'm actually quite good at it. But if would I ever want to do it again in my lifetime? Probably not. Like, the things I enjoy and I feel like I really thrive at is like what I see people say, wow, like you're so good at that. And I think that's like nice when you like people point out the thing that you're like excelling at. Cause sometimes you don't know because you're in the weeds of like just building and doing and things like that. And I think that's where I mean, again, we should do it for each other. Like, what do we think we're good at? Cause I think you're really good at being like, you're so good at that. And I'm like, oh, I am. Whereas like, I think you're so good at organization and operations and systems. Like, I think that's something that like, again, you really excel at. You're really good at taking like really complicated things and organizing them and putting workflows behind them, which I think is really amazing. And I think you're also an amazing seller. Like you really good at selling vision, communicating exactly what you want. Like those skills are so amazing. I think you have really strong career boundaries too, or not career boundaries, I should say like working boundaries in the sense of like, you know what you're going to accept and you know what you're not going to accept. And there's nothing in between. And those are things I'm like, oh, wow, that's like Marina is really good at those.
You're literally so good at everything. It's funny though, because I feel like because I'm in this role, I am having to touch everything, whereas you focus on a very specific aspect of the business. And why I feel like the joke is that like you are actually good at everything, because if it's finance, if it's negotiation, if it's creative, if it's whatever, you know how to do it. You have an answer for it. And I'm like, oh, you've done this before.
It's you know what I mean? It's experience. Yeah, it's just experience. And I think like, it's so funny. We were talking about that this week. I think like there's such value in age when it comes to running businesses. Like, I think it's amazing that we have like 20-year-olds running businesses and launching things and, they're their first 3 years in. But I'm like, I personally, and I would learn so much from someone doing that's that age. But when you talk to someone that's been doing this for 20 plus years, there's just so many anecdotes and experiences that have taught them one thing or another. It doesn't necessarily mean it's always right or the best advice, but they've just had those experiences and also had the time to reflect on those and how they reacted in those situations. And that's only something that experience and time can give you. And I think that's something that I have that you're like still you're getting it right now. And you'll look back, in 7 years and be like, I should have done that when I did this, or like, I wish I would have done this more, or like, I'm so glad I went in that direction. Like, I think that's where you're like, oh, you're good at everything. It's just like, I've done everything for a long time. So I just know a lot.
Experience.
Yeah.
We're talking about like what's the difference between like a junior person and a senior person? And like, it's just like time and experience. But yeah, so I think that those are such good takeaways, obviously, for their listeners. And your career doesn't have to just be one straight line. That is the whole entire point. It's about like stacking range around your expertise.
I think it'd be fun to like audit your own tier, talk to your coworkers if you're friends with them, and kind of ask like, what is my deep skill and what are the 3 to 4 things I can do to like broaden that out?
Yeah, I love that. Then pick a short course or project in each of those. You don't need another degree. I think we like spiral and all of that stuff. You just need to keep adding layers and context and like curiosity and just like trying to learn more about the things that you want to broaden.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously in this world, it's moving so fast. There's so much change. It's like you get really good at one platform, then another one launches. You have to get really good at that platform. So it feels overwhelming. But I think in a world where change is the constant, like just keep learning, keep adapting, keep being flexible. Yeah.
I love the idea of learning. And I do think it came like COVID specifically. And I was so deep into the coaching world that I feel like everybody was like, okay, I want to like perform better here and all of that stuff. So continuing this conversation about upskilling and investing in yourself, let's talk about identifying in-demand skills. So 1, look at job postings in your field. That's so helpful. If you can understand what your hard skills are, what you're like an expert in, and you can deep dive into that. Don't just look at the titles, just like understand the job postings in your field specifically. Pick one hard, one soft skill per quarter to expand on it.
And oftentimes like companies that you work for, you can ask if they'll invest in you learning more about these soft skills. So like taking a project management class or taking a creativity, I don't know, whatever workshop, like they'll oftentimes like invest in that because they want you to be upskilling and continuing to grow.
Yeah, no. And I think it's important, again, like figuring out what you're going to expand every single quarter is hard, but looking at what are skills that are in demand that allow you to like get a new job or keep growing in your career. But LinkedIn's 2024 reports list communication, leadership, and AI literacy as the most in-demand skills.
What is AI literacy?
There's like prompt engineers, like people that understand how to communicate properly with AI to get a specific result. There was a lot of time, I don't remember if it was right when I was leaving Yahoo, but like AI engineers or like prompt engineers was the number one role that people were hiring for in different fields and different departments. Like understanding how to use AI for marketing. Like people will go in and be like, build me an AI, like a marketing campaign. That's not how you're really utilizing AI. And you have to be a really, really good like question asker and like true strategist behind that, and that's like your hard skill.
Well, it's interesting because I was like, we were talking about this with the Create and Cultivate, especially for companies who've been around for so long, like creating an AI brain for your company. So uploading every single deck, every single email, every single contract, every single conversation, the history of this business, and then giving it to employees to be able to be like, did we ever work with X and X brand? If so, how much did they pay and what did they do? And was the client happy? And you can find that.
You need to do that.
I know, but then I lose my job.
The way that we do that now, I'm like, hey, Jaclyn, did we ever work with this brand? Yes.
To Mike, because he was like, they have that for their company. I go, but then I go away. Marina can't wait to fire me. Shut up.
That's so crazy.
No, it's so like, crazy. I mean, but the problem is like, I don't have all that information in one place. It would take a while, but it would be so worthwhile. But
the one thing that is missing, which is again, why I love AI, but you will forever need that human touch. There's still deeper context that is not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I
wasn't at drinks that night.
You know what they were happy about and what they weren't happy about.
Yeah.
And like, that is so important. Even like the process to get to that contract phase. And so, I definitely think that that's really important. But I love it. Yeah. Communication, leadership, and AI literacy. I'm not surprised that those are the in-demand skills.
But so companies that invest in employee development, so they'll be like, hey, we'll give you a budget to go do this, whatever. See an 58% higher retention and 20% higher profit margins.
Yeah.
So I think that's great.
I'm not surprised by that either. Honestly, I've been talking to our team of like, what are different courses that you can take? Like, how do you advance of things that you want to do or that you're supposed to be doing at work that you're like, And I will tell you, I also think that the companies that don't do that are scared because they're going to learn and then that person's going to leave. And that is not how you should be operating your business.
Yeah, no, I know. Another thing is the creative thinking, creativity, and all these things. I feel like AI has taken away a little bit of my creative brain.
I could not agree more.
I don't want to write a caption.
I know, but it is harder sometimes for me to like communicate certain things like long form or build strategies. On the flip side though, like I was building out our 2026 marketing calendar and I was like, I spent 3 hours talking to AI, talking to ChatGPT, writing everything down. And I was like, what questions do you need from me to build this? And then they would ask the questions and I would answer them and then I would go deeper. And it was like working with someone.
Yeah, like a
it
partner.
took so long, but I had to like give it the right information. Where I think like the bigger projects is where it really helps, but then it takes away from like, yeah, your creativity on like the smaller things of literally writing a caption.
Yeah. Well, one thing a girl said to me that I actually really liked is she was like, I use AI to help me organize thoughts and, put together like strategies, but I don't let it create anything new. So I give it my thoughts and say, make this organized and figure out a way to, but I don't say, give me the ideas.
I love
and
that.
I like that because I was like, I actually feel like that's the best way to do it because that's when you start to lose yourself. And I've been guilty of being like, write a witty caption for this. And then every time I'm like, I hate this, make it better. And they're like trying. And I'm like, mine was better. Like, blah, blah. But like, it is like lazy.
And also people get the same answers.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to stay competitive when like I was looking for a Substack title. I'm not going to do it, but maybe one day I'll do a Substack title. But I was like, the signal kept coming up, like the title, the signal. And I'm like, this is the dumbest thing. Like, what is this? I don't want this.
Yeah.
And I don't know who it was. Maybe it was like one of my cousins. They looked for it. They looked for like a title and the signal came out. So it's like, it does repeat. I know it does repeat for people. And so like, just be careful because also it's, again, there's no like authenticity to you, but let's keep going. That's neither here or there. I'm really excited to talk about obviously like microlearning and courses. I love courses. That is literally how I made a living before creating culture.
Okay, well, take it away.
Yeah, no, but I think it's just such an interesting concept that if you are an expert at something, obviously there's like the online courses. So LinkedIn Learning, Udemy and platforms like that, like more than just your traditional YouTube videos. But I love this idea of someone being a true expert, not just like a random Joe Schmo, like a true expert that maybe retired or just like isn't doing what they were doing for years. Create this like course and then like sell it and teach it. I don't know. I think it's amazing.
This retiree course.
Yeah. Like Jaclyn sold her business. Fundraising masterclass. Like literally you get to learn from these like big failure. If you do take it on the other side, it really is so amazing. And so I think the microlearning is like, one, obviously so much faster. You get years of experience dialed down in one course. It's more practical and it's easier to complete. Like that's the whole point of courses and school and stuff. You're not thinking
how much money should you spend on this though? Because I feel like these courses have been, crazy.
I think so Udemy, you can get a course for like $50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That feels like normal.
Yeah. Like those like soft skills, even like some of the hard skills, like learning like quick and efficient, little like micro courses or micro learnings is so good. But there are, I think when you are talking about like the $5,000 courses and all of that stuff, I think it's twofold. If you're just paying $5,000 and you're literally just getting a video platform of just information, I would challenge that a bit. But if you are getting the hands-on, mentorship, the community, that's where that comes from. Like a lot of the times you're not just paying for the information, you're paying for someone to like curate the information in a way that's easy for you to digest. But yeah, I don't know. I really love it. I loved like learning things. I learned how to build a course from a course. You know what I mean? Like
it's so interesting.
Yeah, I Photoshop. Like I took a Photoshop video course. Like it's just, I don't know. I'm
such a teach myselfer. I was never part of the course community.
Yeah.
Except for like things that were not business related. Like obviously I took like the W set and like did my sommelier and like
so cool. Yeah. Like sommelier. Like I think again, when we're thinking about upskilling and investing in yourself, it's not just work related. Like
Mahjong. Like Rummy Cube, like learning these like little games, like poker, like all of these things, like there's all these game nights where it's like, again, you're still learning skills of negotiation, but wit, like,
just different
quick strategy. Like, I think I'm more of like, if I'm upskilling, I want a martini.
Yeah. I want to learn how to, I'm
A little bevy.
Yeah.
Upskill.
No, I'm obsessed. Well, so you did ask like, how much should you be spending? So let's create like a personal development budget. So personal, I think set aside about $500 a quarter, or block off 2 hours a week. I think it's not just about the finances. It's like the actual time commitment.
Yeah. There's a lot of free stuff out there too.
100%. Employer sponsorship, obviously pitch the ROI. Like if you are an employer and you are an employee coming to your employer, make sure that it's clear, like what do they get in return? Like what does the business benefit for investing in you? That is going to events and conferences, taking courses, going even like at like a random, whatever, game night and experience. Like what do you benefit, right, from that? And it might literally just be like refilling your cup and fueling that creativity that you're losing in your day to day.
Well, and we talk about this all the time. Like your network is your net worth. And like, we want well-networked employees. Like we talk about this all the time. Like who's in your Rolodex? Like who can you call, whether it's on the marketing side, the sales side, client side, like that's so important. And so you have to leave your house to build your network, and we all work remotely. So, or at least like our team does. So I think, again, this is a great way to not only up level, but meet people that will like obviously enhance and build like what you're looking to do.
Totally. And when you are talking through asking for your employer to pay for it, I think the biggest thing too is like, how can you take those learnings and not only pay it forward or pay it back to the company, but your team. Like maybe it's a team activity. Maybe it is just teaching your team if you're managing them. I think bonus also, leaders can model growth by being transparent about their own learnings and investments. I talk about it all the time. I have a leadership coach. I tell my team that I have a leadership coach. I just think it's important that you have a leader that is continuing to learn.
Agreed.
There is nothing worse than having a leader that just thinks
I know
everything.
All. Yeah.
Like that just sucks. But yeah, I don't know. I love it. I love talking about, I'm in this era of like personal and professional growth. And which is perfect because we have a business that supports in that.
Yeah, which is so great. It's so true. Like I think again, attending a Create and Cultivate event is like the perfect example of that. It's like the networking component, the up-leveling, upskilling. It really is like all those things combined. But I do love this. I think it is so important. I feel like since I've gotten to New York too, like it's been one of those things where I'm creating my network out here. So I've been going out a lot more. And I will say there are so many amazing free little networking events around New York City that you can go to. Even LA, I'm sure there are too. But like if you're in your 20s and like building your career, like get out there. Like I feel like it's like the best way to network and meet people. And they're based on like the most, niche random things. But we also might be cooking up some fun things for you guys to do.
I'm so excited. But that's our deep dive into upskilling and treating yourself like an asset, because you are.
Our stock is always going up.
Yeah, clock it.
Winnie, clock it.
The biggest takeaway though, you don't need to wait for someone else to invest in you. You can start today. So here's a quick recap. Pick one big career goal. Figure out what one hard skill and one soft skill is. Figure out what one hard skill and soft skill is. That will get you closer to it. And then find a resource to help you learn them. Block time, commit if you can, ask your boss if the company can cover it, but invest in yourself. At the end of the day, you are the best investment you'll ever make. And the return compounds, baby. But thanks for joining us on this week's Work Party. Next week, we're talking about networking, and we promise it's not an awkward or icky topic. I feel like networking is such a buzzword now, but it literally does change the game.
No, it changes your life. It changes your career. It's what we all need to go do. Let's go. Let's leave. Let's go network.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Work Party. If you like what you heard, follow, leave a review, rate the pod, or slide into our DMs.
Check out the different ways you can create and cultivate on our website, createcultivate.com. From retreats and masterminds to our summits and festival.
We have different experiences to support you through your entrepreneurial journey from launch
to legacy.
Follow us at Create Cultivate on all platforms, and don't forget, work hard.
Party on.
Please note that this episode may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products and services. Individuals on the show may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to in this episode.